Lechem, it's Avraham Shepherd here from King David's Tomb, KingDavidKabbalah.com, and we are in our series of Reincarnation 101, and we are learning the Zohar, Parashat Vayechi, page 218b. And the Zohar here is telling us about the time the person passed away, and it says a principle that we already spoke about, but I'm going to say it over again, and then we're going to have a new learning, a new realization that is coming from this Zohar. So the first thing the Zohar is telling us about the day that the person is passed away, that he have a permission to see things that he didn't have the permission to see them until that point. All of our life, our eyes are closed to the spiritual entities that are surrounding us. But in the time just before a person is leaving this world, they have the permission. Hashem is opening these eyes that are allowing him to see the spiritual entities that he's surrounded by. And then in that point, the relatives of this person is coming from the world of souls to bless him, to greet him. Hopefully that is, if he's righteous, so then everybody are happy, and his soul is going with his relatives into the heavens. When a person, God forbid, did wrong things in his life, he didn't do tikkunim, he didn't do what he needed to do before he passed away, he didn't do tshuva, so then unfortunately those relatives are cursing him. It says in the Zohar, they are feeling bad for him, that he didn't do the right thing, and they say, oy vey, oy, and he have to go to the hell, to Gehenom. Now, we have to understand, I say that many times, and I'm going to say it again, the hell is not a punishment, it's a reward for the bad deeds. That's the result. That when a person did those bad deeds and he went after his lust and desires in this world and he didn't do tshuva, he didn't do the tikkun that is needed, so then he had to go through this hard, harsh process of refining who he is and what he's there for, to be able to continue in this way. Now there is worse than that. There is a possibility, and that's the new understanding that is coming from this article of Zohar that I'm reading here now. There is a possibility that a person, his soul doesn't leave his body fully. And that's a very harsh punishment, that the soul continues to feel the pain of the body after the person passed away. And that's something that is explained in different articles of the Zohar and other righteous people, that, God forbid, when someone is not worthy, is going through a process that is called Chibut HaKever. What is Chibut HaKever? The parable that the sages are telling us, as if there's angels that are beating up the body of the person, so they bring back the soul into the body after the body is in the grave, and they beat him up, and it's very, very painful. Okay, so there is people that they take it in the literal meaning of that idea. For me, I take it as a conceptual point. I'm not taking that as a physical. It's not that the angels are becoming to be physical, that they have to hit the physical body. But the point is that there is a part of the consciousness that doesn't disconnect from the physical body. So the pain that there is, the sages are telling us that like a pain of a needle in the life flesh of a human being, in the same way there is a pain when the worms are going into the body in the grave. And that pain can be felt when there is a connection that continues of the person, of the consciousness of the person to his physical body. And the reason that there is still consciousness in the physical body after a person passed away, it's because the person didn't do the effort, he didn't learn how to disconnect his consciousness from his body when he's alive. And that's something that I try to teach, I practice it myself, I try to help other people to learn how to practice it on a daily basis. When we are doing the practice of the Jewish meditation, one of the purposes, it's not the main purpose, but one of the purposes is to train ourselves to disconnect from our physical body. And then when a person is doing those efforts when he's alive, then in the time that he's ready to leave this world, it happens naturally. The consciousness is separating from the body, and then the person doesn't feel the pain of what the body is going through in the grave, which, to my understanding, is the real what's happening in the concept of Chibut HaKever. Now, the Zohar is coming to tell us about the process of that separation between the body and soul, the consciousness from the body. And the Zohar is telling us that there is 7 days, the 7 days of sitting Shiva, mourning, according to the Jewish law. In those 7 days, the soul is going back and forth between the house where the person was living and the grave. That's the reason that the relatives are gathering in the house of the person that is mourning, the place where the person that passed away was living. They gather there, they try to have a minyan, if possible, to pray there together, to have people coming and saying divrei Torah, saying blessings over food and drink, whatever. All of that is for the merit of that soul that is going back and forth between the house and the grave. And actually it says in the Zohar that the soul of the person is mourning for the body. Again, we're talking about a person that is not in the highest level. Okay, it's not the worst, but is not in the highest level. If he's in the highest level, so then the soul doesn't need to mourn for the body because it's in the heavens. And when the time comes of the resurrection, so then there will be a reunion between the soul and the body. But for people that are not in such a great level, so then there is a difficulty for this separation to take place, and then that soul has to go back and forth. And while that process is taking place, while the soul is going back and forth, it also goes up to the heavens. And now it's very interesting understanding, very interesting concept that is brought on in the Zohar here, that we know that there is Me'arat HaMachpelah, right? What is Me'arat HaMachpelah? Is the grave where Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak, Yaakov are buried in Hebron. This is Me'arat HaMachpelah. Also Adam HaRishon, Chava, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, all of them are buried there in Me'arat HaMachpelah. But in the Kabbalah, in the Zohar, we are relating to Me'arat HaMachpelah as a spiritual concept. What is the concept of Me'arat HaMachpelah? So the Zohar says that the soul goes, every soul, our soul also, when the time when we pass away, we're going to Me'arat HaMachpelah. So I don't understand that it's talking about the physical location of Me'arat HaMachpelah in Hebron. It's talking about a certain spiritual location in the heavens, in the spiritual realms. And there is a certain sight, certain vision that the soul can see, which is the place of that soul in Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden. And I want to explain that the concept of Me'arat HaMachpelah is connected with the concept that is Nukba, the feminine aspect, that is as if the source of our souls, the way that Hashem is bringing our souls to this world is through that opening, which is the Me'arat HaMachpelah, which is connected with the concept of Nukba, Malchut. There's many different concepts that are connected. But the point is that within that location, within that place that is called the Me'arat HaMachpelah, there is a vision of the place of the soul in Gan Eden. So we see that Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, heavens, are connected with the concept of Me'arat HaMachpelah, as if Me'arat HaMachpelah is the opening that through there is the way to reach the place of the soul in Gan Eden. But then the Zohar continues and says that the soul is actually going into the realm of the Kruvim, of the angels. that are guarding the gates of the heavens. And that is the place, the next station, the next place where the neshama is going in when a person is worthy, obviously together. So then the neshama have to face those angels, and they are giving it permission, if it's worthy, to go in. There is a possibility that the neshama have a place in Gan Eden, but it's not worthy enough to go in, and then they send her back to do tikkun, reincarnation, or God forbid kafakela. They translate that kafakela is like a slingshot between the angels, but we'll speak about it another time. Anyhow, there is a possibility that there is a place, and they show the soul the place, and then they forcing the soul to go back, to go through a certain tikkun, or to go to hell, to refine itself through the process of the Gehenom. And then when it's clean and it's worthy, then it can go back again to the Garden of Eden to sit in its place. But all of that is only the lower Gan Eden. There is different levels of Gan Eden. So here we're talking about the lower Gan Eden, Gan Eden Tachton. Okay? The lower heavens are closer to this world. The higher heavens are more ascend, is more abstract. So when we are reaching the first place, we are reaching the opening of Gan Eden, the lower Gan Eden. Then when the years goes by after a person passed away, it can be elevated. That's the whole concept of Ilui Neshama, the elevation of souls that is taking place in the heavens, in the time after the person already left this world. So then it can reach higher and higher levels, and that is something that is happening to every soul, even the biggest levels of souls. When we are doing something like giving tzedakah or lighting a candle or whatever it is for their Ilui Neshama, to the elevation of their souls, it helps them because it brings them to a higher level of heavens. And that's something that we have to know also for our relatives, for our parents, grandparents, whatever, to know that we can help them after they passed away. When we are doing the right things here in this world for them, it brings them to a higher level of the heavens. And Bezrat Hashem, Hashem will help all of us to reach our potential, to do all of the tikkunim, to do all the right things, to reach to the place where we belong to in the heavens, and within the heavens to go from one strength to another, from one level to another, to reach to the highest level, the highest potential. Bezrat Hashem. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Thank you very much for listening. Please join us. Visit our website, King David Kabbalah. Help us support the activities that we're doing, all the spreading of the light of the Kabbalah. And with that merit, Hashem will bless you many, many times, multiple times in this world and the world to come. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom V'Vorach.